Are you still stuck at the same bench press weight? Well, I'm gonna help you break through that plateau with these 5 exercises to improve your bench press. Let's talk about them. Hey there, Brandon Split here from Thirst Gym, and today I'm gonna walk you through 5 exercises I love to use to build the bench press. And we're gonna focus on several different factors of why your bench press might be lagging. So chances are, one of these is going to help you break that plateau, but chances are most of them are probably going to be things that you're not doing to improve your bench press. All right, the first exercise we're going to talk about here is the JM press, named after J.M. Blakely, who trained at Westside. This is a triceps specific exercise to improve your bench press. And the JM press, in my opinion, is very rarely performed by most lifters, and it will drive up your bench press by a lot if you do it correctly and you do it semi-frequently to drive your bench press up after your main work. So think of this as a skull crusher on steroids. So you're just gonna get in your regular bench press rack as you normally would. The weights that you're gonna use are gonna be more than a skull crusher, but less than a close grip bench press. So it's a nice hybrid between the two. So we're just going to get in our close grip position. Feet can be on the bench or on the ground. That's personal preference. I ideally like to mimic the way that I bench press whenever I go to do the exercise. And I'm gonna, again, use a close grip. So arms are basically straight out in front of me here. And then I'm gonna unrack that barbell, bring it out in my close grip position. But from here, I'm gonna intentionally keep my elbows up, bring that barbell towards my chin, and then explode up. So always keeping those elbows up and pressing like that. Highly recommend having a spotter for this, but you're gonna explode up from the chin-based area. And so what that does is it puts a massive stretch on that tricep, and we're only going to use the triceps to finish that exercise as an explosive punch. So again, I like doing this after my main bench press work, and you can do these for quite a bit of heavy weight. If they happen to bother your elbows, then you can drop the weight down and focus on more reps. But ideally, I like doing this for 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 10 repetitions. But again, you can push this up to 10 or 12 if you absolutely have to and it's bothering your elbows, or you can just find a different exercise. But if your elbows feel good, this one exercise is going to improve your tricep strength for your bench press. Second exercise on my list is going to be the seal row. Now, this exercise is a pain in the butt to set up, so I totally get it. If you don't have like the seal row machine, the logistics setting it up can really suck. But I do think it is one of the best upper back exercises for your bench press. And the reason that is that we're actually going to be pulling the barbell in the opposite direction that we would actually bench press. And so what I've got here today is I've got my makeshift seal row. I just take a bench and place it on top of 2 jerk boxes. And then I also use a cambered bench press bar. And the reason I like the cambered bench press bar is it lets me get that full range of motion so that the bottom of the bench is not limiting what I can actually do from the exercise. So the key here, and the main modification I want you to make, is having an isometric at the top as you go to hold the actual exercise. So I'm here, I'm gonna grab the bar, I'm gonna pull that into the bottom part of the bench. So I'm gonna keep my chest up tall and proud. Pull, hold, back down. Pull, back down. Really trying to squeeze those rhomboids and upper back, being as strong as I can in that position. Now, when we actually go to bench press, we actually want to pull those shoulders back and down together as we go to press. So what it's going to do is going to allow me to squeeze tight, own that position. It's going to mimic closely to my bench press. This is going to be an exercise that you're going to want to do a fair amount of volume with. So you want to do 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions, and you could do this several times per week if you wanted to. So you can put it on both bench press days. You have one day that's a little bit heavier, the other day is a little bit lighter, but this is an exercise that you're going to see a huge return on investment from teaching you how to keep everything stacked down and back as you go to hold that to press big weights. All right, the third exercise I love here is a dumbbell bench press, but using a mini band around our wrist. So a dumbbell bench press with Band RNT, reactive neuromuscular training or technique. And so what we're gonna do when we have this band here is this, as we go down, we actually have to pull that band apart. This is gonna kind of go back to our seal row based Reason why I like that exercise is that we're gonna learn to pull our scaps together and down to create that stubble shelf, and now we're actually going to train and bench press in that position. So this is a great way to kind of clean up some technical issues, but at the same time still build the upper back strength specific towards your bench press. So we're just gonna get in our normal dumbbell bench press position here, and I wanna make sure I got that band pulled apart. I'm gonna use more of a neutral base grip here. It's gonna be a little more comfortable than trying to actually have my hands out in a normal bench press position. As we come down, meet that band and then come up. So as I'm pressing, I want to try to actually pull that band apart, keeping my back locked in. I can feel my traps, my rhomboids getting smoked as I do this, on top of just my actual triceps as well. And then we're just going to continue to knock those out. So this is, again, an accessory exercise that you can do for relatively high reps, 10, 15, 20 repetitions if you really want to push it. Really focus on pulling that band apart as you're coming down. Again, you're not going to necessarily build the most amount of muscle with this exercise in terms of like your chest and your shoulders, but it's going to give you the positional awareness of where your rhomboids and your upper back should be when it comes to bench press. All right, the fourth exercise I love here is going to be the Swiss bar floor press. And the reason I like this exercise is twofold. Number one, this makes it a very tricep emphasized exercise. And for many people that are struggling with their bench press, the triceps is a lacking factor. We already kind of talked about the JM press in terms of hyper focusing on that, but we still want to get quality pressing power. The Swiss bar floor press is going to check that box for us. The other nice thing is going to keep our shoulders feeling good, and we're going to limit range of motion just focusing on the triceps being explosive, because we're not going to be getting a full range of motion. You can also mix up your grip, so you have quite a bit of options, usually with your standard football baller or Swiss bar, so you can go with a close grip or a wider grip or a medium grip. You can really hyper focus on certain things if you want to as well. So this is going to be a great exercise to drive up your actual bench press strength without actually having to bench press. To be great for off-season periods of training, or a supplemental movement to just build your bench press after you've done your main bench press work. So just like it sounds, you're just going to be on the floor with the bar. And for me personally, I like the medium grips. I'm just going to make sure that my head's underneath the barbell. My feet can be bent or straight. That's personal preference. If you find yourself using your legs cheating during the exercise, then keep your feet straight so that you're not able to use that leg drive. But if you can keep yourself honest, you can also keep them bent as well. And then we're just going to unrack the barbell, just bring it out of our face like a normal bench press. Come here and explode up. Brief pause on the ground. We want to make sure we're not relaxing and just kind of chilling here. I'm going to squeeze that bar hard, pause, and press up explosively. So with this exercise, because it's going to be more of like a driving exercise to your bench press, you can push these relatively heavy. Sets of 3, 5, maybe even 6 repetitions after your main bench press work to really develop that strength specifically for your bench press, for anywhere from 3 to 4 sets. You can also do it as your main work for the day. So if shoulders are bothering you, it's a great substitution option. Or you can even do this for more volume. You can use that close grip work. You're really trying to focus on the triceps and do sets of 8 to 10 after your main bench press work for 2 to 3 sets. So lots of ways to use this bar to drive your bench press up. I do think this is one of the most underused pressing variations for most people trying to improve their bench press. All right, the last exercise I'm going to talk about here is going to be the bench press against bands. More importantly, the dynamic effort method with bands on your bench press. Now, many people give this flack because of Louis Simmons, again, from Westside Barbell, saying that this doesn't translate over into building raw bench press strength, but I can assure you that it does. The science proves that it does. So what you're going to want to find is a low weight here, and you're going to try to press it as fast as you possibly can for 3 to 5 repetitions. Now, I've got my band set up here, doubled up on the rack, so that way that there's always tension in the bottom, and as I go to press, I'm having to press into that band because I'm having to press as fast as I possibly can. But the reason bands specifically is there's something called overspeed eccentrics, and so obviously the bands are pulling the weight down, and that creates a stretch effect on the musculature that I'm trying to press with, namely my chest, shoulders, and triceps, and that stretch then causes a contraction, and it's called the stretch shortening cycle. That's what you see whenever you go to actually jump, you bend down, jump up. We're basically doing that same thing, but the bands makes it overspeed. So it's going faster than it naturally would if I just regularly bench press. So we're gonna get tendinous adaptations on top of building strength gains from it, but we have to use a certain percentage of weight. And so we want that weight to be about 40 to 50% of our 1 rep max with the bands here, okay? And I'm gonna show you what that looks like. The goal here is, again, to press as fast as humanly possible for the entire set. So you just get set in your normal bench press position, pull that weight out, and so notice that I'm pressing as fast as I possibly can. And so that big stretch that I'm getting, and I'm pressing up. And so I'm getting those tendon adaptations over time. So you're just gonna kind of wave and keep your weights around the same, that 40-50% range, doing sets of 3 to 5 for anywhere from 5 to 10 sets. So lots of volume here, but it's going to help you develop the power aspect of your bench press. And that's why I think it's one of the most underutilized ways to improve your bench press, because if you're constantly just benching slow, you're not doing anything to develop the tendinous adaptations or the speed and power adaptations to your bench press. You're leaving a lot on the table. And so there you have it. There are the 5 ways that you can improve your bench press without actually bench pressing. We focus on things that develop your upper back strength, your back position, your tricep strength, the speed of which you press, and different pressing variations to focus on building a stronger upper body that's going to carry over into your bench press. Implement these 5 things into your bench press, and I can assure you, you will break through your bench press plateaus before you know it. If you happen to like today's video, do me a favor, hit that like button, leave a comment, share with a friend, subscribe. All that really helps me. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you at the next video.